Okay, we're going to get started. Can I have everyone's attention, please? Pretty good. Thank you all for coming here. I know that you had the gift of time today. I actually felt a lot better, holding this meeting, knowing that you had the gift of time earlier, because I know how difficult it can be to sit in one space for a long time, especially when you're hungry and you've got things on your mind. So I really appreciate that you've all come here. Just again, if you're just walking in or if you haven't quite found your group yet, please make sure that you're sitting with the group that you will travel with first. So if you're going on two programs, March and summer, sit with your March break program. And then also make sure you check in with the person taking attendance at the beginning and at the end, just so you can get fully acknowledged for being here and having received these messages. And coaches, when the meeting's done, please give back the rosters with the clipboards or folders, whichever you received. Okay, I'll need those just to run through and see who I need to follow up with. Well, as I said, thank you all for coming here. My name's Mark Cutler. I'm the Director of Learning in the World and our Academy Travel Opportunities Office as well. I'm also the parent of a member of the class of 26 and a member of the class of 24. I teach in the Spanish department, and I'm an outdoor pursuits instructor and a house counselor in Carter House. And I do a lot of other things, and I've been here for quite a while, and I know the value of travel and how it adds value to your overall Phillips Academy learning experience. And so I'm really excited for you all to take this opportunity to participate in these programs. And so we're here, Dr. Esty, Dr. Patel, and Mrs. Yole, and I are here to just give you some messages that you need to have so that you can have a successful experience on the program or programs that you're embarking on. So we are greatly appreciative of all of the attention that you will give us, and hopefully that, knowing that going out, you will do the right thing and you will represent Phillips Academy well. So just real quickly, I'm going to go through just show you what in the world are we doing. I'm here to give you your welcome. Welcome. My name's Mr. Cutler. We'll also hear from Dr. Esty, Dr. Patel, and Mrs. Yole, and then there will be just a few messages at the end that are for everybody. So just real quickly, I want to take stock of where in the world is everyone going. I looked at the lists, it's a total of 354 students, sometimes duplicates, but 354 individual instances of travel between March break and summer this year. That's a lot. That's a whole class worth, if you think about it, maybe even more. I'm not sure what the current numbers are, but 354 is a lot of different names. When we're collecting permissions forms, that's about 1,000 signatures that we need to collect. So if you just imagine the undertaking that this is, to wrangle all of those people and forms and itineraries and things like that, you'll understand what a big feat this is to pull off. But anyway, where in the world are we going? 354 of you are going to places like Alaska, California, Florida, Maine, Washington, D.C., and wilds unknown within the U.S. Give a cheer if you're going to one of these places. Yeah! All right. That is the majority of you. How about if you're going to the Caribbean and Latin America, Argentina, Bahamas, Mexico, and Peru? I do believe that a few of you are going there, in fact, with me. How about Europe, Belgium, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Italy, Netherlands, Portugal, Spain, and Switzerland? Africa, Ghana, Morocco, South Africa. All right. And Asia, we have a couple groups going to Japan. All right. So that's really exciting for me, and I want to document this if you're okay with this. This is for social media. If anybody wants to remain anonymous, I'd like to take a picture of you, but you can cover your eyes if you prefer to remain anonymous. Pull your hood over. Jacob's getting nice. I like that. So I'm going to hold this up, and I'm just going to yell out. I want everybody to scream, shout, show your enthusiasm for global travel. Sorry, the people on the sides may not have gotten in. I apologize, but I'll make it look good. Okay, so just real quickly, you may not think that this pertains to all of you, but I think it does. So the Learning in the World mission is something that guides a lot, all of our off-campus learning opportunities. And so our vision first is to ignite curiosity and inspire globally minded action anywhere in the world. So if you're doing a preseason training trip, you may not see immediately how this applies to you, but I assure you that it does when you think about it. And then we have our mission here, and I won't read the whole thing, but we do want to focus on the idea that this is learning through experience. And so all of you will be learning through experience, no matter what program or type of program you're on. Here's a few notes. I, as a seasoned global traveler, think about this often, and I want to remind you and let you know what I think you should pack and have with you on your experience. First of all, your coaches, your program leaders will give you a packing list. You should take all the items on that packing list and nothing more. Please don't take anything that they recommend against. Hair dryers, your laptop may not be necessary. Contraband, anything that's considered contraband, leave that at home. Definitely take an open mind and a sense of curiosity and wonder. That goes for anybody in Florida to Japan or South Africa. A duty of ambassadorship. Remember that you're representing the place that you come from. All of you are representing Phillips Academy, and you're also representing your culture wherever you come from, whether it's the U.S. or another place. And so people are going to look to you and see you as an example of what other people are like from where you come from. Also take with you your empathy, your team spirit, and your non-sibby attitude. This is extremely important, that you all are looking out for one another wherever it is. What do I want you to bring back? I want you to bring back souvenirs, photos, and great memories. You all should be making the best memories out of these experiences, and those are what's going to last the longest. New and changed perspectives. Understand that you have something to gain from participating in these programs. You're going to be working with other people. You're going to be working with teammates, with group mates, with travelers, with strangers. And you're going to be taking their perspectives and adapting them into your own world vision. You're also going to have enriched habits of mind. Something's going to happen to you that's going to change the way that you act and take action and make decisions. So understand that it may not happen immediately, but at some point in your experience, your lived experience in the future, you will adopt a new attitude and habits of mind. And also connections with other people and places. So you all are going off to some really amazing places, and you're going to meet some amazing people. These are going to be part of your bubble. You have the Andover bubble, and this is an extension of that. So these will be connections that will last forever with you and in you. Okay, so a few things. Just real quickly, if you are going to another country, this is housekeeping. Do you need a special visa? I'm working with groups right now to get you all set with your visas. Reach out to me. Please let me know if you think you need a special visa. I have a few names, and I'll be reaching out to those people to organize the opportunity. If wherever you're going, learning in the world, performing in the world, or preseason training, you've got forms. You've got a permissions packet. You've got a medical permission to travel form. Get those in. Those all go to your coaches, your program leaders. They need to have those. Those are legal documents that need to be submitted before you can travel with your groups. So please make sure that you're doing that. And also do them completely, please. Make sure that you sign, as well as your parents and guardians, and also your physician and a notary if you're going abroad. If you're on an affiliate program, I'm talking to the people on the sides, make sure that once you've applied and been accepted to let me know, and you can email me at litw@andover.edu. That's LITW for Learning in the World. Anybody can reach out to me via that email address, and that's the best way to reach me for any question or support. And then finally, if you're on a PA faculty or staff-led, there's one more survey that I'm going to send to you because I have something that I need to give you. And so I need to know something from you about that. So make sure that if you're on one of those programs, these are the people in the back. There's going to be one more message coming from me that you'll need to respond to promptly before you leave. Okay, I'm going to introduce our round of speakers. We've got Dr. Esty, Dr. Patel, and Mrs. Yole. Dr. Esty is going to come up and share some remarks first.
Hello, welcome, and happy Friday. I'm going to keep it brief because Mr. Cutler already covered a number of the main points that we want to make from the Dean of Students office with you all. When you go on one of these Learning in the World trips, whether it's local, whether it's domestic, whether it's international, right, you are still a student of Phillips Academy, which means that all the rules and expectations of Phillips Academy students apply. It makes sense, right? I look around, every year we do these, and I look around and you all wear so much clothing that says Andover on it. You, as Mr. Cutler said, you represent yourself always, and that matters, right? Being your best self. You represent your family, your team, your school, your community, and sometimes if you're traveling outside the country, the US, right? When you are traveling on school-affiliated trips or school-affiliated programs. I know we have some affiliate program people here too. What that means is that if you are not meeting our community standards while on one of these trips, what do you think happens? Maybe a gap, maybe. Certainly a response from the school. I'm not always clear that students realize that because they think, I'm on, school year abroad in Spain for the year. But actually, you are still part of the Phillips Academy student body, and the Blue Book rules are still in effect for all of you. More important than Blue Book rules, right? I know we have, I'm a big believer in boundaries and the Blue Book rules. I feel like it needs to be really clear, and that's our intent with the Blue Book, is to be really clear about behavioral expectations. More important than that, though, are the community values that we all share, right? And living those values. So what are our school values? You all know these, and I think you know them right off the top of your head. Anybody? Knowledge and goodness. Yes, knowledge and goodness, right? What else? Youth from every quarter, which means what for us, Max? You can call a friend if you want. Yes. Yes, yeah, perfect. What else? What does non-SIBI mean while we're on these trips? So how do you show not for self? Sorry, I missed that. Selflessness? What does that look like? I need, break it down. What does selflessness look like on a trip? Yes, Sebastian.
There's a child in the middle of the street and the bus is coming towards them.
Not all heroes wear capes, right? It could be you. No, I hear you, Sebastian, that is an extreme, but right, it's all the little things that we do that are not for self, but for community. Our community, the communities you are visiting, the communities you are living on if you're going away for a while. Non-SIBI is something that we bring to those. When we talk about our core blue values, we try to make all the Blue Book rules fit within those 4 core blue values. Name those, come on. Sorry, say it louder. No, well, that's one of our Phillips Academy school values. The core blue values, we ask you to respect yourself. What does that mean to respect yourself?
Hydrate for sunscreen.
Yeah, take good care of your health while you're on these trips. What else? Yes, thank you. What does respect for others look like on these trips? And with dignity, yes. How they would like to be treated, too. Yeah, absolutely. What else? That was 2. Yeah. Thank you. How do we build a healthy and inclusive community? What does that look like? Be nice, yeah. Quinn. So how do we show empathy and understanding? Yeah, it's really important on a group trip. Anybody? What's that look like in practice? Listening? Yeah. Sorry, what about if you don't know someone? Be there for them. Yes. Oh my gosh, this is such an important point, and one of the main points I come up here every year to make. Living in community means that you look out for others too. And while going on these Learning in the World trips it's super exciting. It can be a life-changing experience. At times, it can also be a really scary experience. It can be a tiring or draining experience. It's an opportunity to grow in ways you maybe haven't even imagined yet, right? You may find yourself in a situation, I hope not saving a small child from a bus, but maybe. You will find yourself in a situation that you hadn't imagined when you pack your bags for that trip. And you might feel feelings that you didn't see coming, and it might not be you, it might be the person next to you, right? And so what's really important about listening to others is also just noticing others and how they're doing. Because maybe they're not doing so well, maybe they need adult support, and that's hard. We know that's hard, and we admire your courage when you actually come to adults and say, we're worried about this person and we think they need adult support. It's one of the most courageous and important and selfless things you can do, honestly. That's important. It's also just knowing, like, maybe it's not a big deal, but it's this person's just having a really hard time. New experiences can be tough. Group travel can be tough, right? And maybe somebody is struggling to get through the next day. And so that is your opportunity to lift them up, to give them some words of encouragement, to maybe talk to one of the adults who's chaperoning your trip and say, you don't need to do anything, but you probably just want to be aware that I'm seeing that this person is putting on a good face, right, a mask, but they're having a really hard time on this trip. And that's taking care of each other. That's being Big Blue community, all right? There was one other value. Yes, thank you. You all are so good. Act with honesty and integrity means your integrity is you doing the right thing, right? Integrity is about all the right decisions you make and feeling good with yourself about the decisions you make. And so again, they're all sort of related, but you can look out for yourself and look out for others, and by doing that, act with integrity. Make sense? All right, we are very excited for you. Have wonderful trips. I'm going to bring up Dr. Patel.
All right, hello everybody. I'm going to be really brief. I have 3 things that I just want to make sure that I review. One of them applies to all of you, and the other 2 may or may not. So there's already a lot of good information that you just got from Dr. Esty and Mr. Cutler already, so I'm not going to repeat any of these things. So one really critical thing is that every trip has somebody that's designated as a wellness advocate or your medical chaperone. And that person is essentially going to be your go-to if you have a health issue, whether it's something that you want to talk to them about ahead of time, or it's something that comes up. You might have to say some things to them that you aren't used to saying to them, and describing things in like a lot of detail so that they can figure out how to get the care that you need. Maybe they're going to check in with somebody, at psychs or maybe a parent, and so they're going to need a lot of information that maybe you don't normally tell your teacher or your coach. The other piece is making sure that if you tend to take medications, if you get nervous or stressed in particular situations, if you get homesick, that you're also reaching out. Don't wait until it gets to be too significant. All right, so that's kind of for everybody. So medications. So most trips will have some small amount of over-the-counter medications. If you have particular things that you know you like to take, a particular brand of ibuprofen, for example, or a particular, something that you know you like to be able to utilize, like to take care of an upset stomach when you travel. Make sure you bring that on your own. If you take prescription medications, they have to be in the actual bottle from the pharmacy with your name on it and the label, because some airlines or some airports might take it away. And so just make sure that you pack what you need. You don't have to give it to your chaperone. It's totally fine if you want to let them know. Some forms do have that information, some don't. All right, and then make sure you keep that in your carry-on bag as well. And then for those who have a history of severe life-threatening allergy, and about 10-15% of Phillips Academy students do, so it's likely that somebody on your trip is going to have that history, you got to make sure that you bring 2 epinephrine auto-injectors. The chaperones in the room are also going to make sure that you do that, like before you go on your trip and then as you're going out day to day. Be mindful of your exposures as well. So if you're trying new foods, that's awesome, but just make sure that you're checking in with if you have a food allergy, for example, make sure that your chaperone is checking in with what you're eating, or if you're going to a new place on your own, make sure you're checking ingredients. So those are my 3 main points that I'll leave you with, and so that's basically it. I just want you to be safe, be healthy, and have fun. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Patel and Dr. Esty. I'm going to just share a few brief messages for everybody, and then we're going to hold the preseason training travelers back while the rest can exit after all these messages. So we're going to do that quietly and efficiently, and we're going to get to Mrs. Yule's messages in a moment. So I'm just going to go through. I'm not going to entertain questions quite yet because I want to go through. So if you're on a PA faculty staff-led Learning in the World or Performing in the World, your leaders may want to check in with you outside. So if you do that, either quietly in the vestibule lobby there or outside the doors, just so that way we're not interfering with messages being given inside this space. If you're on an affiliate program, JK, don't check in with me outside because you'll be gone before I get there, but I'll send you a message just to follow up on something I need to get from you. Also, all of you, first of all, thank you again for coming today. And on your way out, I know that you've already been treated with sweet treats. I sort of pivoted at the last minute and thought cookies. So there are cookies and lemon bars, lemon squares or something like that out in the lobby for you. I believe they're here already set up. You are welcome to take those. Save them for later if you already got your sweets this morning. But definitely do that. So I'm going to say anybody on the Learning in the World, Performing in the World, or affiliate program, you can quietly exit through the back doors now. If you're on a preseason training trip in March, please stay.
Okay, we're going to get going. I'm going to be quick, kind of be guided by halftime talks, which is, I'm only going to talk about 3 things. I'm going to talk about gratitude, I'm going to talk about non-civi, and I'm just going to talk about perspective of these trips. First of all of you have the wonderful opportunity as student athletes at Andover to participate in spring break trips and later this summer, a field hockey trip. And that would not be possible without the commitment and the planning that goes on behind the scenes, literally, almost a year in advance. because of your coaches. And so I actually do want to pause, and I would love all of you to give all of them a round of applause to making these trips happen. Those things matter, and they matter too because these are big commitments in every way. They're commitments for your family members as well, who are letting you, allowing you, providing you an opportunity to go on this. So we want to always remember that sharing that gratitude, which we can sometimes forget because we think it's our right to go on these trips. It is a wonderful privilege and opportunity, and I am deeply grateful for all of these coaches who are going to roll right from the winter term, like all of you, to making these trips really successful. Let's talk about non-SIBI. We've talked about it always as a value, and how that applies to teams is just essential. Your program success, your team's success will always be reliant on you as an individual understanding the most basic concept that we know is that there is no I in team. And for anyone who sits here and thinks the team success is sort of centered on me, you have to keep really working on that. What I do know is this, that the success of this trip will be all of you checking yourself all the time to say, how can I make it better for the teammate next to me? And so I really, really urge you, while I know we all have individual aspirations for our personal growth athletically on these trips, is that what we know as coaches, I think what many of you understand at the core of sport is the success of your team is based on everyone around you caring more about that person than yourself. And if everyone does that, I think we're going to be in a great place. The last thing I want you to think about is to make the most of this opportunity. It's pretty awesome. As someone who's gone on training with my soccer team for 20 years, I know for many of you, for many soccer players, this week will maybe stand out as the highlight of the season, or maybe, in fact, over time, one of the highlights of your time at Andover. And I want you to really seize that opportunity. I want you to remember, for those of you who have done this for many years, what it was like to show up for the first time, or what it was like to show up at a camp that you signed up for, an athletic camp that you signed up for the first time. Or for some of you seniors next year when you show up to play collegiate sports and you show up for the first time with a group of teammates, a culture and coaches that everyone else already knows and is new to you. And what I'm going to urge you to do is that you think about what it's like to be new or nervous for the first time, and then go out of your way as a teammate to take care of those who maybe are most anxious about this. It is easy to hang out and sit with and ride on the bus with or in the van with the kids we know best. You will miss the opportunity to grow as a teammate, as a friend, if you don't lean into the people you actually know less well. And I know there's a lot of you, and just by a show of hands, who has never been on an Andover spring break training trip before? Just as a show of hands in this room. Yeah. So we've got adults and we've got students doing that. And so it's everyone's collective responsibility to take care of those folks as well. If Mr. Kuda was here, I'm just going to close with this. I know Mr. Kuda would also give this advice, and I want to, it kind of piggybacks onto Dr. Patel's. It is the start of spring season. I know for me, when we show up at August soccer camp and we have our first practice, we have our first friendly scrimmage, we have a lot of expectations as athletes, as coaches showing up for that. And it's supposed to be a little messy. It's supposed to not be what it's going to look like for your teams or for you in a month, in 6 weeks at the end of the season. So I ask you to be patient with yourself and keep perspective. If you play your best, lacrosse, baseball, if you're rowing the best you're going to row, and play tennis next in 2 weeks, I don't know. I don't know what that means for the rest of the season. So there's going to be a lot of growth. If you find yourselves feeling injured or sick, Mr. Kuda is going to tell you to keep small things small. So if you are not feeling well, if you feel you got a sudden injury and that feels disappointing to you, the best thing you can do is let your coach know and plan accordingly. Most important, have fun on these trips. I look forward to lots of great stories. I heard someone say wear sunscreen and drink water. wear sunscreen, and drink water. That's really, really good advice. And again, thank you to the coaches, and have a great time. And Mr. Cutler and I are going to stick around if people have questions. He looks like he might have a parting comment.
No.
And have a great time, and we'll see you on the other side of it.
Thanks. Good. Thanks, everybody.